Hello everyone, this is Highlander from MTG Cardsmith doing another custom Magic the Gathering card review, and I'm here with my special guest Islandsnake.
Hey everybody.
I feel like you need a better, you need like a catchphrase greeting instead of just hi
Yeah, I
everybody,
know.
you know? So,
Yeah.
something like welcome to the island, but not that because
No.
that's
No,
terrible.
not that.
All right, so here we are. We're reviewing a card by Suleman. This is another Borderlands card he's made, and once again, I'll just reiterate. Neither Islander or I are super familiar with Borderlands, so these cards need to stand on their own as Magic cards, as with any reference card. And here we have a vehicle. We reviewed Scooter a few cards ago, and here's a vehicle. Um, let's
It
see.
has hey, so Scooter sucks.
Yeah, true. Yep. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So this is Cyclone, two in a red for a vehicle. Excuse me. It has haste. It gets -1, -0 for each creature crewing it beyond the first. And it's
Okay.
crew 3. So, okay, so 3 mana, haste 5/3, crew 3. And for each creature crewing it beyond the first, it gets weaker. So, my guess is looking at this picture, it's like a
one man
it's a
vehicle,
one man
right?
thing, and if you put more than one person in it, then it gets awkward. I guess that's the idea behind it. Um,
That's kind of a neat idea, I guess.
yeah, okay. I think so. Okay, let's do this in order. Okay, so first let's talk about presentation. So there's a couple issues here presentation wise. First, you're not using the vehicle frame, which is available on MTG Cardsmith. So I recommend that you use that. Also, you're using another screenshot from the game. We talked about this with Scooter. That's just a big no no. Like you're, I feel like I talk about art every episode, and I'm sure everyone's so sick of me doing
Is
it
that
now.
actually a screenshot from the game?
Yeah, this is a screenshot from the game. You can tell because it's got like the black outline and everything,
Oh.
and it's definitely a 3D render. But uh, people are probably still sick of me talking about art by now. But again, like your art should enhance your card, not distract from your card. And in this case, it's distracting from the card. So I'll just leave it at that. Um, and there's also a couple issues here with formatting. So basically, this should say Cyclone gets -1, -0 for each creature crewing it beyond the first. You kind of left out that second minus there, which is just sort of a minor issue, but still an issue. Again, it's distracting. Like I saw that immediately when I was reading this. So, okay. So now that we got that stuff out of the way, let's talk about this card design. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to. Well, okay, let me back up for a second. This is cute. I get what you're doing here. Flavor wise, this makes sense, right? It's a one man vehicle. So if you try to throw like more creatures into it, it gets awkward and it gets weaker. But I think that you could probably just write this card differently, and it would basically play the same. Okay, well, let me try and flip this for a second. Okay, so what if this card basically said, like, let's say this card is like a 3/3 or a 4/3, and this just says like when Cyclone becomes crewed, if it was crewed by only one creature, it gets +1/+0 or +2/+0. Basically, taking this downside and turning it into a bonus instead. I think would make the card just feel better in general. What do you think about that, Island?
Yeah, I think you're right. I do kind of like the like part of me likes the idea is like you pick up a card and you kind of like do like a double take. You're like, what's going on with this card? And then you realize like, oh, you know, it wants you to crew it
With only one
with one
creature.
person.
Yeah.
And even though maybe that's like a mark of like not the best design because you have to think about it for a second. But part of me with the theme of this card, like I kind of smile more at that than like your version is mechanically the same, but I don't know that that is like people are gonna jump to that conclusion,
That's
like
fair.
theme wise.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah. This is probably better flavor wise, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I think it's kind of interesting because I think I might agree with you actually that this is just like kind of cute flavor wise, and you're right, it does make you smile, and it's not bad that a card makes you think. By the way, you mentioned that before, like that's actually a good thing. So yeah, I mean, I think this is cute flavor for sure. Like, I will say like I don't know how good this card is because first of all, Crew 3 is a pretty high cost. Like I don't know if like you're
It
not
does seem high
you're not
because you're giving up an attack with like let's just say you crew this with one person, right?
yeah,
That card can attack, right? Am I
correct,
correct
or
about
block.
that?
Can attack or block.
So it's a card that has at least 3 power, and you're not necessarily getting, I think, 3 power worth of benefit
Well,
here.
okay, so here's the thing about vehicles is that when you crew a vehicle, you are first of all you're making it so both your creature and your vehicle can no longer block if you're attacking, right? So that's one thing. Second of all, there's always when you play vehicles, there's always the risk that you don't have enough power to crew your vehicle because they've like killed your creatures, for example, right? So then this thing just sits on the battlefield doing nothing. Um, and so, like for example, and I'm especially thinking about this from a limited standpoint. Obviously, if you're playing constructed, you're gonna like build your deck to be able to like pull this off for whatever reason. Like you're gonna have to play like 2 mana, 3 power creatures or whatever. But in limited, Crew 3 is actually a very high cost because like there is going to be for basically for each amount that crew increases, the chances of you not being able to crew it go up a lot. And Crew 3 is like it's on the high end basically. It's like pretty hard to crew generally. Like for example, in limited, you don't always have first of all, in limited, you almost never have 1 drops. You do sometimes, but almost never, right? And your 2 drops are almost never gonna have 3 power. So like in Magical Christmas Land, you'll go like 1 drop, 2 drop, crew this thing, but then it's weaker if you do that, right?
Yeah.
So the perfect scenario is you play a 3 power creature on turn 2 and then crew this in attack, which is a strong attack. But a 3 power creature on turn 2 is not necessarily the easiest thing to come by in limited. So like, yeah, I don't think this card's really that good.
I think it needs more power.
I think it's, I think
6-3 maybe. 7-3.
Well, I would say maybe just make the crew cost lower. Like if you're forcing it to only be crewed by like 1 creature, a Crew 2 might be the way to go. I mean, it definitely makes this become less of a factor, but I think that's a good thing, to be honest. Like, I don't know.
I kind of like the Crew 2. I think Crew 2 is fine.
I think Crew 2.
I mean, I think Crew 3 would be
card.
fine if it was like stronger.
Yeah, or if
Because I don't even know that like,
for example,
if we costed this out, that you're getting 5-3. Like you're giving up a 3 power creature, right? And you're paying
or multiple creatures, which is bad, right?
Or multiple creatures just to get a 5-3 with haste. Whereas like, I don't know if the mana value is actually there for that. It might be.
It seems a little underpowered to me. Like one thing you could do is you could make this like a 5/4, and so if you wanted to keep Crew 3, you could make this like a 5/4 or a 6/3 or something, so that the payoff's like really there, and then like this effect is not so punishing because then it's like, okay, well if you crew with 2 creatures, it's still like it's a 5/3, right? If it's a 6/3, or it's a 4/4, which is pretty good, especially at 5/3. I mean, this is fairly easy to trade off. So like in Magical Christmas Land, where you play this on turn 3 and you have a 3 power creature in play, yeah, you'll hit them for 5, but then after that, this card kind of like it's just going to trade off, and then you've tapped a creature down. Like, yeah, I think this one could just use a little. It just needs a number somewhere, right? Like you could turn knob on cost, you could turn knob on power and toughness, you could turn knob on crew. There's a lot of like possibilities here.
mean, I don't know how
to
you
make
feel
this card
about
better.
crew because, like, I don't know how often crew comes up like in Magic. I just feel like that this card to me makes me think that like the, doing something with the crew mechanic where the number of creatures is more important than the power would be cool. Uh, I'm just thinking out loud about that, but like I think it's interesting that this card is incentivizing you to like care about the number of creatures that you're using instead of the power necessarily. Like you
Yeah,
want to try to get 1 3 power creature. I think that's a cool idea.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah,
That
I'm gonna go with 4 out of 5 for this one.
4 out of 5. I can't go with. I think there's too many issues with this card. I will go with 3 out of 5. Again, this is sort of a theme here. There's definitely some cool ideas here, but the execution's not 100% there. But I think this one is certainly like better than some of the other ones we've seen. But the reason I have to give it a 3 out of 5 is for art and formatting issues. There's the art, and then there's the issue with the -1/-0, and you're not using the right border, so I have to take points off for that. But design wise, I find this to be pretty cool. I do think it's a little underpowered. So I think if you kind of just turn one of these knobs somewhere, I think you can probably make this a better card. Because the thing about vehicles is they tend to either be like super overpowered or terrible, and this one kind of falls in the terrible department.
Yeah, I can see that.
So anyway, that's our review of Cyclone. Thank you for watching.